The 5 missing youths from Arunachal Pradesh Nacho area have been found on the Chinese side. And taking to social media, Union Minister Rijiju said that China's People's Liberation Army has responded to the hotline message sent by the Indian Army and confirmed that the missing youths from Arunachal Pradesh have been found on their side. Rijiju further informed that modalities to hand over the youths to the Indian authorities are being worked out. So this is a big development. After 6 days of uncertainty, finally China has shared information on the missing youths who had been allegedly abducted by the PLA troopers from Nacho in Upper Subansiri. Earlier yesterday, the Chinese Foreign Ministry had said it had no information to share on the missing youths and also sparked by row by yet again refusing to recognize Arunachal as Indian territory. So we was big story at the hour. The 5 missing youths from Arunachal Pradesh Nacho area have been found on the Chinese side, and taking to social media, Union Minister Rijiju said that China's People's Liberation Army has responded to the hotline message sent by the Indian Army and confirmed that the missing youths from Arunachal Pradesh have been found on their side. Well, Rijiju further informed that modalities to hand over the youths to the Indian authorities are being worked out. So viewers, indeed this is a big development. After 6 days of uncertainty, finally China has shared information on the missing youths who had been allegedly abducted by the PLA troopers from Nacho in Upper Subansiri. Earlier yesterday, the Chinese Foreign Ministry had said that it had no information to share on the missing youths and also sparked by row by yet again refusing to recognize Arunachal Pradesh as Indian territory. And to know more, we are being joined over phone line with our editor-in-chief, Wasbir Hussain. So, Wasbir, big development after nearly 6 days of uncertainty over the whereabouts of the 5 youths. The PLA has confirmed that they were indeed in Chinese territory, Wasbir.
Well, Priya, yes, this is the big development at this hour in connection with the 5 Arunachali youths that have gone missing on the 3rd of September from the Nacho area in the Upper Subansiri district. And for the first time, the confirmation coming from the Chinese authorities, which have been intimated by Union Minister Rijiju, also an MP from Arunachal Pradesh. He has said that the Chinese have confirmed, Chinese have acknowledged the presence of the 5 Indian nationals, all youths from Arunachal Pradesh on the Chinese side. This confirmation coming from the Chinese authorities in response to Indian Army over the established hotline with the counterpart, that is the People's Liberation Army stationed along the Arunachal border. So this confirmation coming from the Chinese, as I have said, Priya, that
Yes.
the 5 youths have been found on the Chinese side. And after this confirmation, it is only a matter of time when the Chinese authorities finalize the modalities for their handover to the Indian authorities. In this case, it will be the Indian Army. The Chinese PLA will be bringing these 5 youths to the border, designated border meeting points, and then hand them over to the Indian Army officials. That is the modality that is being worked out exactly as to the date and time when these 5 youths are going to be handed over. So it's only a matter of time. Now the question is, why did the Chinese yesterday deny information? Perhaps they were weighing the pros and cons following the hotline message given to them by the Indian Army. They were perhaps examining the pros and cons, and particularly in view of the standoff in the entire India-China border along the line of axial control, particularly in the Ladakh sector, where the standoff is showing no signs of de-escalating, leading to even a firing incident last night. So in view of all this backdrop, the Chinese took their time. But the Indians have stunned the Chinese actually yesterday by handing them over a flock of yaks and other calves of the semi-domesticated bovine found in the Himalayan ranges. this yak is a source of livelihood for the high Himalayan people, whether it is on the Indian side, whether it is on the Chinese side. So the milk, butter, meat, that yak is a very, very important source of livelihood. Therefore, a flock of yaks being handed over by the Indian army to the Chinese counterparts, and the Chinese profusely thanking the Indian authorities, that perhaps had set the ball rolling. Apart from that, Priya, also Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is slated to meet his Chinese counterpart in Russia tomorrow. In fact, Jaishankar is leaving for Russia tonight for this very, very critical meeting of multilateral meeting, where he will also be meeting on the sidelines, exclusive meeting with the Chinese counterpart. So there was already a demand from the BJP and other leaders from Arunachal Pradesh that the case of the missing Arunachalis should be on the agenda when Jaishankar meets his Chinese counterpart. So in view of all this, the Chinese were realizing that there will be pressure mounting, and perhaps yesterday's firing incident was also not taken kindly by the international community, which has drawn large-scale condemnation as to why the Chinese should escalate further the standoff at the LAC. So in view of all this background, perhaps the Chinese have decided to act on this and return the Indian nationals on humanitarian grounds. Priya.
Right, Wasbir, and what is now confirmed yet again is such instances is common in bordering areas of the frontier state, and probably the issue of the missing youths became sensational due to the current situation at the LAC in Ladakh.
Absolutely, because these are common happenings along the McMahon line, or for that matter along the LAC, that is the India-China border. So even a couple of weeks ago, an individual from Arunachal Pradesh, also a youth, was in Chinese custody, having trespassed into the Chinese side perhaps, or having been abducted. He was in Chinese custody for 2 to 3 weeks, and then he was returned to the Indian authorities unharmed. So these kind of incidents keep taking place. But now the entire focus and attention has been on this abduction of these 5 youths, particularly because of the standoff along the line of actual control, particularly after the Galwan incident where 20 Indian soldiers were martyred, several Chinese soldiers killed at the hands of the Indians. So in view of this backdrop, and there was already another incident on 29th and 30th of August, where the Chinese tried to make another attempt at trespassing into Indian territory and occupying the heights in the Ladakh sector, particularly in the Pangong-Shu Lake region. So in view of this backdrop, the Arunachalis, 5 Arunachali youths missing from Indian territory on the 3rd of September and believed to have come into the custody of the Chinese PLA that had drawn maximum attention. And of course, the Chinese good sense prevailed on the Beijing that finally, after denying anything yesterday in the briefing by the foreign ministry spokesman, they have decided to respond to the Indian Army's request to as far as the whereabouts of these 5 Indian nationals. So they have acknowledged their presence on the Chinese side, and now it is only a matter of time when these formalities are being done, when they are handed over to the Indian authorities, safe and sound in the coming days.
All right, Wasbir Hussain, thank you so much for all those details.